Hey there, y'all. We're
Hello.
back. Hey, Shavon, how you doing?
Hi, sister. I'm doing good. How you?
I am so good. I'm so good. Glad to be back with you all. Hello, everybody. This is Real Women, Real Talk, and we are back for episode 18. We are moving. Closer and closer. And this will air toward the end of the first month of the year. And so we have so much we want to talk about with you all. Real Women, Real Talk is our opportunity to really share and become an extension of our nonprofit where we create safe spaces for women to do personal development work on themselves. So we invite you into this virtual sister circle. I am Trenace Richardson. Welcome to the circle. And I am the founder of Real Women. And my co host is.
I am the amazing Shavon Carter. I am one of the facilitators for Real Women.
Yes, you are. And we have, we are multi hyphenates. So we have tons of other things that we do, but we really focus on real women here because it's our opportunity to expose you to a life changing experience, a life changing community and organization. And we are growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
This month, we have launched Sister Circles in Richmond, Virginia, in Annapolis, Maryland. And we are coming to your area soon and very soon. So if you are interested in connecting with us, either in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, Hampton Roads, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. If you would like for us to come to your area for a Real Women on the Road experience, any of those, and if you want to connect with us virtually, we have monthly virtual sister circles this year, every single month. Go to realwomenrock.org for more information. Realwomenrock.org. And until then, while you're listening, since you're here, we might as well give you a sneak peek of what it's like to be a part of our sister circles. So, you ready, sister? I'm ready for another good episode.
I'm so ready. I love these.
Yes, we're gonna have some fun, y'all. So
Mhm.
we like to just start and just see, first of all, how y'all doing. How you doing? Just tell us what you up to. How are you doing? Put it in the comments. Send us an email at info@realwomenrock.org. We look forward to soon having y'all leaving us voicemail messages. All of that's going to be really fun. But so tell us how you doing. And I'm just going to ask you, sister, how are you doing these days? What's going on with you?
Okay, so at the time this episode airs, I'll be back in.
Mhm.
But at the time of this recording, I am on a nice break from school, and I am enjoying doing nothing.
I was about to say something, girl. You said nothing. Absolute the word nothing.
No. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much weight and pressure and
Mhm.
just stress school
Yes.
puts on me with these assignments and all of that. So, not having that, I just feel lighter and just like, oh, okay, I can just kick my feet up and not be thinking about, oh, okay, I can only have this amount of time, to
Mhm.
relax because I have this assignment that's due. So, I am enjoying watching movies, playing games on my phone, sleeping. I took a nap today. It's just been great.
Mm,
So
that ministry is amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
I was just talking to a girlfriend today,
Hmm.
and we were having a conversation about how busy we are and how we were trying to take the winter break
Yeah.
before the beginning of the new year to really slow down. And
Hmm.
she was referencing a season of her life recently where she was doing this, and she said, you know what, now that she's in retirement, she's retiring, she's
Oh,
like, I'm looking back on that and trying to figure out how I did it, just how
mm,
in the world was I doing all of that. And I
mm.
honestly believe God graces us in the
Yeah.
seasons that
Mhm.
we need to do it, that he graces us to do it. God does. So
I'm
yeah.
telling you, because I don't know
Mhm.
how I make the grades. I'm doing really well. I don't know how.
Good.
Thank the Lord. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. because I don't be feeling like it, but
It's grace, girl.
it's
Grace.
definitely grace. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Good. Well, I'm doing okay too. I am let's see, at the time of this, it'll be the end of the month. So I'll be prepping. Well, no, first of all, let me just say I'll be recovering from the fact that two of my family members, my immediate family, my husband and my daughter, have birthdays in January.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
we try our best not to make a big deal about Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
as far as gifts and all of that kind of stuff. We really try to keep the integrity of the season and just focus on the gift of
Mm-hmm.
family and the gift of Christ and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to make birthdays a big deal.
Right.
So, in trying to talk through what they want to do, it's been sounding like a lot. So I'm hoping I'm going to be recovering. And then I'm looking forward to my sons in February. And that always involves a whole lot of teenagers at this point. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
so
goodness.
so I'm birthdayed out right now in my thoughts for the future, looking
Right.
forward and recovering. But other than that, I'm good because someone in a sister circle recently said this. We were talking in the last in-person sister circle of the year in
Mm-hmm.
Charles County, Maryland. The topic was the gift of reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was talking about how this time of year can be really difficult and annoying because a whole lot of folks want things and it's just that kind of thing. And then one lady raised her hand and she was like, y'all know I love you and I appreciate all of you, but I don't have any family here. Not,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no one is checking for me, no one is checking on me. I have family who's gone. So let them babies bother you. Let that, have the conversations you want to have because
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had that. And so
Mm-hmm.
with me saying all of this stuff I'm saying, I'm also grateful that,
Wow.
that I have some family to celebrate. Isn't that all about perspective?
I love how that happens in the circle because
Mm-hmm.
usually we have this and that. We have
Mm-hmm.
the different perspectives that and it allows us to learn from each other,
It
because
sure does.
we're in our space and in our thoughts about this season and then someone put something in the circle. It's like, oh my God, you're so right. I didn't even think about that. So
Yep.
it's
After that, all of us were like, girl, let me shut up. You are
exactly,
absolutely right.
it's
So,
humbling when you hear that. It's like,
yeah.
what am I complaining about at the end of the day? So
Yes, so good, so good. So we hope y'all are doing well. If it's a rough time for you, it's okay. It's okay to say I'm not okay, and figure out, kind of search around within you and around you to figure out what you need
yeah.
and honor that, honor what you need. So that was the first part of our real talk. I
Yeah.
did want to ask you something else, a little lighter and
Huh?
fun. Okay, so this is a two-parter, and I'm
Okay.
asking you all who are listening as well. So please, YouTube, put comments in the chat. Send us your thoughts by email. I'm asking, sister, what is your favorite color?
Mm-hmm.
And then what color are you symbolically? So it'll be interesting to see, based on what you think about colors and what they make you feel, is that the same as your favorite color or different? So what's your favorite color to wear or to see or, to be around? And then if you had to describe yourself as a color, like
Mhm.
what would that be?
I don't know that I have a favorite color.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't know. If I were to look in my closet right now, it is a rainbow.
mm.
So I like earth tone colors, but I have white, black, orange, green. I have all the colors in my
Mhm,
closet. So I
mhm.
will say that I don't have a favorite color.
Nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
But what's interesting, symbolically, I see myself as yellow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Say more.
Yeah. So I see when I think of color, like right now, I'm in my office and I'm looking at two chairs, accent chairs. They are yellow. So
Mhm,
I am vibrant. I am full of life. When I think of yellow, I think of sun
mhm.
and it just radiates. There's brightness. There is just, you know, lightness, all of that. So
Mhm.
that's my symbolic color. But when I don't wear yellow a lot, but
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
mhm.
So let me tell you, so this is so good. This is so good. So there is, there is some science to colors.
Hmm,
There is, there's theoretical kind of sociological meaning behind colors. So the
mhm,
idea is maybe if you want to feel a certain way, that maybe you would put on a color that would kind of welcome that feeling.
mhm.
Um, Based on how you want a room to feel, you would color the room and accentuate the room because
Yeah.
it gives it a feel, a warm feel or a real formal feel, depending upon the colors. So
Mhm.
there's a science behind colors.
Mhm.
And then energetically, and for me, spiritually,
Mhm.
there's energy behind colors, right? So
Mhm.
colors make you feel a certain way. That's sort of that internal, intangible energy, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So there's a lot of power to this and a lot to study, but I'm just going to, in general, say that because you didn't give me your favorite color, but your symbolic color being yellow
Mhm.
typically represents joy and happiness and positivity and creativity. And if y'all haven't been listening to the past episodes, if you don't know that that is all right, girl,
Mhm.
right there. So I love that because you exude that.
Yeah.
And all of us have different sides to us and all of that, but
Yeah.
when I think of you, I can definitely see a radiation. Look at your nails.
I just thought about it. My nails are yellow. It's like a
Those of
yellow.
you who can't see and are listening, she just showed us her yellow nails. That's so funny. Oh, and this is so funny because I'm looking at mine now. Okay, so let me answer. My favorite color is green.
Mhm.
And I just love, and I don't necessarily always wear a lot of green,
Mhm.
but a part of our brand colors are green. So I
Yeah.
love to see green everywhere.
Mhm.
My favorite animal is a frog, and I have those everywhere. Plus, I wear them, or I have frog socks. I got frog
Yes, you
t-shirts.
do.
I got so. Pray for me if you think that's strange. Um, and then I love nature. So I
Mhm.
love all of the greenery that you can see outside. And I
Mhm.
do love when the colors change and all of that, but I am an outdoors girl. So all things green.
Mhm.
And so that's my favorite color. I would say my symbolic color is green. I ain't even I'm gonna
Ain't
stay
even
right
change. Yeah.
there. I'm gonna stay
Uh-huh.
right there.
Mhm.
If I could, I would bask myself in that. And because the meaning of it is like growth and
Mhm.
fertility. And oh my goodness, I wish I would have pulled it out. But one of our sisters gave me a card that I took a picture of so that I would always have it with me, and it
Mhm.
just kind of explained the symbolism of both the color green and then frogs. It was beautiful.
Nice.
But it symbolizes growth and
Yeah.
nurturing and that
Yeah.
type of thing. And so I feel that for me.
Yes. Yes. Growth is your word. Yes.
Yeah.
Love
And
it.
then my nails are green.
Yes, they are. And they're really cute
I
too.
didn't even realize that. Wow. And so I thought I would just share a few of the color symbolisms real quick before we
Mhm.
move on,
Yeah.
because maybe somebody's is not yellow or green, and you can always look this up for yourself.
Mhm.
But just a few. I'm not going to go through all of the colors,
Yeah.
but some people, and for a long time, this was me. Black was my favorite color. I would just say I
Mhm.
love wearing black. I love
Yeah.
seeing black. And so black typically represents, and I'm being real basic with this to get through it quickly.
Mhm.
It means mysterious
Mm.
and powerful, right?
Mm.
Mysterious, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then purple, of course, we've all seen a lot of well, I'm a church girl, so in church they love the color purple in church, the seats and the everything. It's so funny. Purple means royalty,
Yeah.
extravagance, and wealth.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
then blue is calm, tranquil,
Mm.
and for some sad, blue, just really feeling sad. So
Yeah.
um, pink, femininity,
Mm-hmm.
compassion, and
Mm.
tenderness. I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red is passion,
Mm-hmm.
danger, danger, and
Ooh.
confidence. It can also energetically mean grounded or supported, feeling really grounded or supported. Yeah.
Okay.
And then orange is warmth and energetic, confidence,
Yeah.
and really, I'll just, it says, this one says something about warning, but I think that's interesting.
Hmm.
Red, one word says danger for red, and this one says warning. So I guess, you,
That was
you,
close to it.
yeah, watch out. So that's just a few of them that maybe if you want to shift your energy or if you're curious, look up what some colors mean and maybe decide instead of just being my all black wardrobe, maybe I'll switch it up and put something else on and see if it does something for me. Just
Yeah.
maybe, just
I love
maybe.
that.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
so that was our real talk, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that and got something from it. We always care about how you're doing and want to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
And now our second segment is to deep dive. So we kind of leave this shore and go get in the deep waters just a bit to
Mhm.
expound on a nugget from one of our Real Women Sister Circles or topics that are similar to what we've discussed there, just so that we can learn from each other, get some insights into what we're thinking and feeling about certain topics.
Mhm.
And so, sister, this one, near and dear, I think, to both of us, I want
Mhm.
to talk about intuition.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have a good time.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, intuition, for those of us who could benefit from just kind of hearing a definition of sorts, it's your ability to understand something without needing an explanation.
Mm.
You simply know it to be true.
Mm.
This is so good to me.
Mm.
Um, and so when it comes to, um, for me, this came from I am in the season of intuitiveness. I'm
Okay.
really working hard to tap into what I know to be true
Mhm.
for myself within myself.
Mhm.
And trusting myself
Yeah.
with that. And so when it comes to eating, when it comes to living more, I'm just in general becoming more intuitive, tapping in to my intuition
Mm.
more. Um, and so I'm wondering, sister, do
Mm.
you consider yourself more intuitive? Or the flip side of that would be, do you consider yourself more factual and logical and evidence based, meaning you need to go looking for the answer or you need to have evidence of the answer in order to feel it to be so?
Mhm.
Which one would you describe yourself as?
I am absolutely, positively intuitive.
Unequivocally.
Unequivocally,
Yes, you
I
are.
have a knowing within me that guides me throughout life.
Mm-hmm,
And it doesn't always make sense, but if
mm-hmm,
I feel it, if I know for sure, like it's just something that is indescribable that it's like, nah, I'm not supposed to be
mm-hmm,
here, or nope, I'm not supposed to do this, or yep, that's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I
mm-hmm,
just feel it. So I don't go by facts and figures because that stresses me out. I don't care what the facts say. I go by what I know
mm-hmm.
intuitively. So yeah, that is absolutely me and how I live my life and how I have when I look over my life I've definitely been guided. When I think about moving here from Florida, when I think about the jobs that I have, the house that I'm in, all of that was guided by intuition. So God,
Let me tell you how much I know about you being intuitive.
how much you know?
Listen, let me tell you how much I know that when you get one too many voices about a topic in your ear, oh my God, you will shut down in a hot minute. In a second, you will shut down because it's too much coming
Mhm.
in and you can't hear
Can't hear.
within yourself.
Yeah.
And what I've learned about you is you may put something out there to talk
Mhm.
about or to work through, but it's not necessarily looking for the answer from somebody else. It
Mhm.
is, I need to be able to process in a safe space with my
Mhm.
sisters, and it'll come, and I, on some level I welcome your thoughts,
Yeah.
but it can't be a whole lot of yep, 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 because you will
Mhm.
shut down in a minute. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, and it's like because I have gotten to a space of trusting myself and knowing that the answers are within me. And so, like you said, I appreciate my safe space, my
Mhm.
sisters, their wisdom and their thoughts and opinions, and so I'll take that into consideration as I sit with myself to find the answer, because
Yeah,
some of that may be, you know what, I didn't think about it like that. And that aligns, that like that hits a space where, okay, that may be true.
yeah,
But ultimately I need to know from within me what the answer is. Like,
yeah,
because and I think I'm really adamant about it now because I have lived dependent on other people's voices, and it just made me feel so off balance
mhm,
and just so scattered and just like, oh, well, they said, and I'm supposed to do this. And I just didn't feel like I was standing in my own shoes saying, okay, what do we want to do?
yeah. I love that approach, that I welcome the thoughts
Yeah.
to the degree that it might be insight or wisdom. And
Yeah.
here's what's important for me in
Mhm.
an exchange like that. It's an offering of a thought.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, this is something to consider.
Hmm.
And then you take that and literally, verbally you've said it, and we've watched it, that you
Hmm.
take that and you use that to make your own decision. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
make your own.
Hmm.
Um, for me, even in this journey of really doing my best to tap in, I know at my core, I am I am intuition. I am
Hmm.
intuitive.
Yes.
I am just a feeling, empathetic
Hmm.
being.
Yes.
Um, and so emotionally intelligent as well. So I am
Mhm.
tapped
Very.
in to how I'm feeling
Mhm.
and what my emotions are, and can sense some of what's happening around me, right? And
Mhm.
what's going on with other people. And I
Mhm.
think at different times in my life, I have ignored
Mhm.
intuition
Mm.
in order to accommodate others because of their level of authority in my life,
Wow.
or I just didn't trust myself enough to take
Mhm.
whatever risks my gut was telling me to take,
Yeah.
or making the decisions. And so being in this is so important to me,
Mhm. Mhm.
being intuitive and
Mhm.
being the core of who I am, and not exercising that for a season, it
Mm.
felt like a slow death.
Yes, absolutely.
Feels like
Absolutely.
a slow death, like I
Yeah.
am just chipping away at
Yeah.
who I am and slowly disappearing
Mhm.
into nothingness. Because if that's who you are, if you don't ever trust what's in you, what God has placed in you, then I was just living somebody else's life in that
Somebody else.
moment.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I have done that, been there, done that, and I don't want to do that no more.
Absolutely. Because it feels like you're detached from yourself.
Hmm.
And then it makes me for me, that's where anxiety comes from because
Hmm.
I'm listening to the voices of other people, not trusting myself, trying to live based on what they said I should be doing. And that creates discord and
Hmm.
chaos. And
Hmm.
I don't have that inner peace, which is so important for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things you made me think about. One, you are a great example for that, even for me, because there are still pieces of my life that I want to live full out intuitively.
Mm,
Knowing in my gut, envisioning what that looks like,
mhm.
living that out loud is scary to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to
Mhm.
have someone before me just kind of take some of those scary steps in their own life is
Yeah.
it's very encouraging for me. So I first
Mhm.
wanted to say that. And
Mhm.
then I think about just those who are listening who have intuition,
Mhm.
hear their inner gut, their inner knower, and ignore her,
Mm.
ignore him
Mhm.
in the way that we did. Because the truth of the matter is, I don't always. I just said it. I don't always honor her,
Mhm.
um, but I'm also wondering about the shoulds, right? So the people who are listening, how do we know when to listen to our knower? Um,
Mm.
and I will start. I want your thoughts on it, but I will start because I personally believe our inner knower, because of the God in us,
Mhm.
has already built into it our moral clause. Like I
Yeah.
believe
Yes.
I believe ethics and morals, and there are some who believe, at our core and at our design, we are sinful and ready to do wrong and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I don't believe that that's what that is. I
Mhm.
believe that before the New Testament worded things that way, that the Old Testament said that we were created in the image of God. And I don't know how those two can be true together, but just saying
How to go together.
how they go together. And so, so because of that, I choose for my life. I can't
Mhm.
speak for nobody else, but I choose for my life to believe that the God in me
Mhm.
has gifted me with a knower. And
Yeah.
so if there are things that are should not for me, it's
Mhm.
coming, it's coming.
Mhm.
And I'm like you, I'm ready to receive
Mhm.
wisdom and offerings of
Mhm.
considerations and all those things,
Mhm.
and I don't always get it right, but
Yeah.
I also think it's because it's all of this mix and mingle of, do I listen to
Mhm.
this or do I do that? I don't
Yeah.
believe at my core, at my origin, that my
Mhm.
knower would steer me wrong. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when you said how do we access that knowing and get to a point of wanting to and get to a point of being guided by it and leaning into it, I think that's been a journey for me, honestly, that started with my relationship with God through Christianity. Like
Mhm.
I think I think how I'm wired, I am just an intuitive. I am intuition, like you said,
Mhm.
and for me to understand that and connect with the God in me, it
Mhm.
started through my journey, as a Christian. And so just the prayer, the meditation, the songs, the gospel songs, and just really feeling that feeling God's spirit, an inexplainable spirit, and making choices when I felt like, when I is just testing it out, trying it out, when I felt like that knowing was saying something to me,
Mhm.
and just trying it and then getting comfortable, like, oh, okay, that's where it is. That's what it feels like or sounds like. So it
Mhm.
was more of, the spiritual aspect and then just the trial and error of it.
Mhm.
And the access for me now is just being still.
Mm.
like we've talked about meditation, we've talked about guided meditations or putting on certain music that just allows us to just sit and be.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I can really access that knowing when I'm quiet, when I'm still, when I'm just giving myself space to be,
Mm-hmm.
I can hear
Yeah.
myself. Yeah.
Can I offer, this is such an interesting, um, not even a parallel, sort of a contrast,
Mhm.
that I agree with you that, and I said it already, that my understanding, my current understanding of God in me
Mhm.
allows me to trust my intuition.
Mhm.
But the way that you started about how your Christian journey sort of started you down that road,
Mhm.
the origin of my Christian journey had God, even though the Holy Spirit, I was taught that the Holy Spirit was in me. I
Mhm.
was taught that I had to ask for the Holy Spirit to come in me,
Got
and
you.
that God was out here somewhere, and I
Mhm.
was, nothing but filthy rags until God comes in me. And
Mhm.
there's this wisdom out here that I have to find,
Mhm.
I have to discover. God, tell me what to do. God, tell me what to do. I don't know what to do, God. I don't know what to do. And I
Mhm.
hear that now and realize that all of this out here was supposed to be me praying inward to
Mhm.
God.
Got you. Yep. Yep.
And seeking the answers from God in here.
And here. Uh-huh. Yep.
Um, because I believe all of our gifts,
Mhm.
all of our knowings and skill set, all of the things that we have been given are already in us.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's just a matter of, like you said, getting still and quiet enough to seek them out. And I was just always, taught to think so small of myself and
Mm.
so big of God out
Out
here,
here. Mhm.
that even the way that I would pray before, like I would pray like this instead of like this, like
Yeah.
just in me,
I pray like this. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So
Uh-huh.
there's a difference even in my posture about it for me.
Yeah.
And it may not mean the same thing for anybody else, but that's what I
Mhm.
thought of when you were talking about your Christian walk.
Oh, that is so good. That is because
Mm.
it can happen in so many different ways and people can have different perspectives on it.
Mhm.
One of the things that I thought about though, I know we're talking about intuition, but when you started, you were like, are you factual, logical, evidence based?
Mhm.
So for our sisters or and brothers who are listening, who are more factual, logic and evidence based, who just feel like
They listening to this and saying, "This is some hogwash right here."
exactly, like that's that's irresponsible. You need to. Where are the facts?
Yep.
Where's the logic? How can you prove that that's what you're supposed to do? What would you say to those people? Because we have this and that in the room when we're in circles. So
The same thing you think about me. No, I'm just everything you done to me already been no. Um,
oh my god, it's so
oh, no, no,
funny.
no. I don't mean that. Okay. So I get it. I would say I get it.
Mhm,
Honestly, I would say I get it. It makes total sense to weigh the scales
mhm,
and to do the research and to ask the questions and look for the answers
mhm,
outside of ourselves in books or people who have been there and done that. I get it. I'm in education, so that's how I spend my time, looking for evidence-based research to make decisions. um, I get it. I would say I get it, and then
mhm,
I would say I also believe that if that's all that you're using to base your life decisions on, I think you're missing an important piece and quality of life.
mm.
Um, I don't believe that my way is better or work. And you would probably say maybe literally we could say the same thing about each other, right? You could say that I'm missing some pieces by just going on my gut. And I can honestly say I don't just go on my gut. I'm saying it's a journey for me, and I do care about who the people I love, what they think, and I do recognize the wisdom of others. I have big sisters, I have mentors, I have spiritual fathers and mothers. And so I get it. I understand it. I think it's a both and not a either or.
I love that.
I would say. Yeah.
I would say I don't get it, so I don't know.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Seriously, so I was in a relationship with someone who was very facts, logical, evidence-based, and it drove me crazy.
Great.
I can't, I don't know. I don't get it. I
I
don't
don't get it. I love our contrast. I love it. That is so funny. Yeah, I do. And I'm with a very evidence-based person.
Right.
So it drives me crazy too. But here's what I know. This is what I know, Shavon.
All right.
As much as I value intuition over logic, I know both are needed.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I know both are needed. And I say that only because people are different. And I think because monoliths do not exist. If you think about it, if everyone just did what they felt, everyone just did what they felt. I honestly believe in a utopian, idyllic way, if we all honored our core, then that would be wonderful. I really do believe that we have the moral compass and all of that within us for all of us to actually do that. But because there are shadows to all of us, and those shadows within us can inform, I think we would have, I think we do have in this society right now some things on our hands, race, all the isms, any of the isms that we want to talk about, because some people are refusing to make sense out of what's going on, and they're just doing what they feel like is right for them. And they're not being guided by the core of what intuition can offer. It's overriding experience, what they've been taught, all that stuff is overriding intuition. And so I don't know if I'm contradicting myself, but I really do understand and get the balance of it all, because we are all different. I just choose and I prefer and I want to live more deeply in my intuition.
Yeah. And I'm like you, like I have a balance. And my profession is an auditor. So I have to use like the logical side. So I was joking when I was like, I don't get it. But it's like the part that wouldn't work for me is living in that space of just the logic. And that's the part that I don't get, because I don't understand how there isn't that access to the intuition. But I think a balance is needed, for decisions like buying a home, buying a car, like those kind of things. I think the facts and the logic and the evidence come into play, and it's helpful. But when I think about life decisions, passion, purpose, like that, definitely intuition. So
And I just say it, even relationships, because sometimes we live in the shoulds. We're saying thou shalt not should on thyself. And so, what are you feeling about this? Is it, is it right?
Mm-hmm.
beforehand. If it's not right, don't do it.
Right. Exactly.
All of that, because then you got to deal with when you're in it and it don't feel good.
Yeah.
Just yeah, it's important when you're living life to tap in. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
tap in.
Mm.
This was good. I, I don't know if we helped anybody that's logical, evidence based, and factual.
Oh, well, just find another podcast that talks about that because we don't. That ain't us.
Exactly. This is not that. This is not that. Too funny. Well, that was a beautiful deep dive to me. Thank you,
Yeah,
sister.
I love
Enjoyed
that.
talking about that with you, and we really do want to know where you are with it.
Mm-hmm.
One of our core values is non-judgment, and so we playing. We not gonna judge you. Just tell us
Right.
what you're
It's
thinking,
fun.
right? As long as you don't come for us, we won't come for you.
Listen, because now this gonna be a problem. Don't
Right,
you
right,
talk
right, right.
about it. Don't you talk about it. You hush
Don't you talk about it. So thank y'all for that. So we're gonna come up out of the water, just come up
now.
back to the shore and have a little bit more fun in this third segment. We call it putting, and you know what? I gotta correct that because this one is a little heavy.
Yeah. Oh,
We're gonna
right.
stay in the water just a little bit.
A little
But
bit.
it's called Put Myself in Her Shoes, where we discuss current events and maybe pose a trending question or a scenario for discussion. We just want to see, instead of pointing a finger and saying they should have, he should have, she should have done that, what would we have done if we were in their shoes? And
Mm-hmm.
so, if we were to look around the landscape of current events, this may be a few weeks past now for most of us, but there may even be some information about the sentencing around this time. I'm not sure, it hasn't happened yet at the
Mm-hmm.
time of this taping, but Jonathan Majors, major actor,
Mm-hmm.
nice looking and all, in my humble opinion, he was found guilty of assault of his ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little heavy, but it's real. All of the details can on social media, you can find all of them. There's a video of them arguing in the car, and as a result of her seeing something on his phone and taking the phone, and he hit her as a result, and then allegedly they got out of the car and then he dragged her back in the car. Allegedly, there was just a whole bunch on the video that you can see, that the jury has had to decipher and has found him guilty of assault on some of the counts in which he was indicted. And so it made me think about so many of our sisters in sister circles who have, spoken up and said, I've been in really difficult relationships where I've had to defend myself, or
Mm-hmm.
I have been abused. And I don't believe any of us really know until we're in that situation how we would handle it, which
Mm-hmm.
is why it's such an important core value for us to not judge,
Mm-hmm.
because you just don't know until you're in that situation. But I would ask you, sister, first, what would you have done, thinking about that specific scenario on which the indictment is based, if you were in the car
Mm-hmm.
and you, being the ex-girlfriend, saw in your peripheral a text on your boyfriend, then boyfriend's phone
Mm-hmm.
about kissing someone else? Uh,
Mm.
what happens in your mind first? And then secondly, whatever you decide to do,
Mm-hmm.
your boyfriend decides to hit you. What do you
Mm.
do? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So this one, it's a heavy one for sure because I grew up in a home where there
Mm-hmm.
was domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
or verbal. I
Mm-hmm.
never witnessed the actual physical abuse, but I know it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing how I am, how I'm wired, I would go inward. So, and I have seen a text message before in a relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like it's just everything stands still. So I go inside. I probably wouldn't even say anything. I would get quiet because I'm
Mm-hmm.
a very internal processor.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably wouldn't even know
Right.
what is happening with me until later on.
Mm-hmm.
I have had situations where I have gotten so upset where I verbally said something, but I've never gotten to the point of wanting to take anything or hit anybody. Like that's just
Mm-hmm.
not how I normally react. But when I get to a point of just having enough, then my words, can get really ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in the car situation, I would just get quiet. That
Okay.
would be my first thought. And if it got to a point where he was pushing me and like to say something or try to figure out what's going on with me to the point where it got into a verbal altercation and he hit me, I think I would be in so much shock because I've
Mm-hmm.
never experienced that before. It wouldn't register that that's what's happening. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
did you just, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But my first reaction wouldn't be like to fight. Like I'm not that's not my first thought.
Sure,
Mm,
sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's again based on our what you just said, our prior experiences
mm,
and just what we think. Who
yeah.
knows what we would do?
Mhm.
But just with the level at which we know ourselves, that's all we can go on. Um,
Mhm.
First, we say, domestic violence, any level of assault, verbal, physical, otherwise,
Mhm.
is not okay. It is
Mhm.
not okay.
Mm.
Um, and so, putting myself in her shoes, um, I think about, and I really do love the way we do this because instead of looking at what she did or did not do,
Mm.
I have to really think about, I have to go inward and think about me.
Yeah.
And that causes me to note that my younger self was all about the confrontation of it all, was
Really?
all about, yes, was all,
Mm.
I come from a very verbose, loud family. And
Okay.
so I have all the words.
Mhm.
I'm not a fight person, but I have all the words. And
Mhm.
so um, earlier me has all the words. And so I can see my earlier me taking
Mhm.
the phone, trying to run to trying to get out of the car, or we're in the car right now. We're not in the house, but taking the phone and asking questions with some attitude and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Earlier me.
Mhm.
What I learned from that, which is why that's just earlier me, and I'm
Mhm.
I'm being serious and funny, that you got to be more strategic than that. If you trying to if you trying to find something else, you can't just like there's got to be some strategy to your investigation. And
Mhm.
so later earlier me would just take note,
Mhm.
figure out, so how am I going to start looking around for some other stuff and
Mhm.
just put some pieces together so it's I got proof.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's both versions of me would have done
Mhm.
at some point. um and so that's how I would handle that. I would be more strategic later
Mhm.
in my life, and earlier me would have been just did what she did,
Yeah.
honestly. The
Mhm.
response to what she did, because I said I would do it too, I agree with you about the shock of it all.
Mhm.
Um, I would just be so hurt
Mm.
that I have a very I have a strong exterior when it comes to relationships because of situations in my past and all of that. I have a
Mhm.
stronger exterior where I want to be vulnerable and I want to open up, but it takes a minute.
Yeah.
So when something like that happens, like I can't even imagine being hit. I can say it that has not happened to me,
Mhm.
but I can imagine that depth of hurt. I
Yeah.
have been verbally assaulted, what I feel like
Mhm.
is verbally assaulted.
Mhm.
Um, and those kinds of moments break me down to tears.
Mm.
So I could see myself crying in that moment,
Yeah.
and then later taking all of the actions that maybe she's taken in
Mhm.
order to make sure that he's held accountable for it. But I see myself in tears. That
Mm,
I'm not a fight back, but I cannot believe you did this, and just bawling, crying.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to leave this resource because since we're talking about this, because domestic violence is real.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have any sisters or even brothers who are watching this and you have are in a situation or have been in a situation where you are experiencing domestic abuse, there's a number that you can text. You can text START, the word START, to 88788. So if you want to do that, or you can call the number 1-800-799-SAFE. 1
Mm-hmm.
800 799, which is 7233. So safe means equals 7233,
Mm-hmm.
just
So
to get support, because it is really tough being in that situation and just seeing so many people who has lost their lives because of domestic violence situations. Please get support, get the help that you need.
please get the help that you need. Thank you for that resource, sister.
Mhm,
Rewind this as many times as you need to get that information if
mhm,
you need it, and know that you're not alone. And like I'll end this the way I started, by saying, we have liability insurance because we are not counselors. as a
mhm,
as a that is not a Real Women is not a support group that is has licensed counselors that are there for you in a counseling session. That is not what we do. There
mhm,
are some women in there who can take you on one as a client. Perhaps you would have to stop coming to the sister circle in order to do that, is what I
mhm,
understand from the way those ethics work. But my point about that is, even though you wouldn't come to us for the counseling that you need, you could
mhm.
definitely find community that
Yes.
would be supportive of you
Mhm,
during difficult times. And so
mhm.
please seek us out if you're looking for community.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm,
Well, like I said, it wasn't as light as, but I think it's important that sometimes current events that are happening in the lives of people with notoriety uh,
mhm,
are just mirrors. They are people too. They are having hardship just like we are.
mhm,
And if we're gonna, if we're gonna use those as mirrors, we've got to look at all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
mhm.
And we use it as a springboard to say we are here for you and there's help out there for you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Well, thank you for that, sister, and thank you to all of you all who received that with all of the care and sensitivity in which it was rendered.
mhm,
All right, so this leaves us with our spiritual nugget. And we talked about so much, sister,
mhm.
this and intuition, and even the colors. Like, is there anything that has come up for you that you'd like to share as a spiritual nugget as we leave?
Mm. So what comes up for me is a little different, connects, but a little different than what we
Mhm,
talked about,
mhm,
and it's the color purple. Um,
mm,
Actual movie, The Color Purple. And it relates to the colors, it relates to intuition, and it relates to domestic violence. And hope.
my my mouth is wide open.
Mhm.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Because it really connects it. And I know by the time this comes out, it'll be out, for a whole month now. But having gone to see that movie and looking at Celie's journey of having an imagination that even though she was in a domestic violent situation, a physically abusive situation, and verbally with her husband, and being able to move to the point of trusting her gut, trusting her intuition, and following that, and having the support of sisterhood to help usher her out of that.
Mm,
And then the forgiveness at the end, just all of that says to me that this is
mm,
a
mm,
journey of intuition, a journey of knowing that where you are doesn't have to be where you end up, a
Mm,
journey of knowing that support is so necessary.
mhm,
Um, so yeah, I would just say embrace it all, your journey, your intuition, your support. And even if you're in a dark space right now, that doesn't have to be where you end up, that you can imagine yourself in a different space. And even if it doesn't happen in this moment, it can happen for you if you continue to see yourself in a different space.
mm, mm, mm. The way that wove into our topics today
Mm-hmm.
was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that, sister.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't have much to add to that at all. I just I think back on watching the movie. For those of you who haven't, go see it.
Mm-hmm.
And um, yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
that that
Mm-hmm.
we would tap in and trust ourselves and lean in to the support around us.
Mm-hmm.
So important. Thank you for that, sister.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was a beautiful connection made. Mhm.
Intuition. I felt to see it was a knowing. I
Mm,
just
mm, mm. That was amazing, and I looked at the putting myself in her shoes. I was like, this one's gonna be heavy, but then it moved, and I think the theme of the color purple this go round, this second version, is
mm-hmm.
about hope that
Yeah.
there is the possibility of more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we 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 pray for your more in this
Mm-hmm.
season, as you are into this new year now, a month. We pray for and believe God for your more.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Well, y'all, this has been an amazing Real Women, Real Talk. Yet another episode. We hope that you have enjoyed it. Please share. Please follow us.
Mm-hmm.
Invite someone else into this virtual circle by sending them this podcast. We want to grow to the point where we are able to share this with thousands and thousands of folks. And so we need your help to do that.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of Real Women, Real Talk because we are real women.
And real women talk.
We do.
Yeah.
Love y'all. Thank you, sister.
Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.